Laura King here. I'm here to teach you a little bit about your brain and what we can do to help you. So I'm teaching you 7 tips to reboot your personal best. The way we do this is a little extra bonus for you to be able to do for yourself. First, you're going to see how you have to visualize what that looks like. What does your personal best look like? Get a visual of it. Really imagine that. Then we got to go through a process where you describe your personal best in words. Now, why would I want you to do that? To do it in words? Well, I want you to do the visual. I want you to do where you're writing it, because the words as you write go into your brain, and we can develop a process where your brain actually rewrites the script of your subconscious mind. Now, when I say reboot, it means as we go through life in our personal best, how we respond to what we do every day, we sometimes dip because we have imprints in our brain that are from the past, or something somebody told you, or something that just isn't fitting the way you want to do something. So we've done our first process is the visual. Our second one is describing it in words. Now, when you describe it, I want you to be specific. I want you to see it all positive. You have to see it, say it, think it with the outcome that you want positively. And really remember, you don't want to say don'ts and nots in it. You got to avoid the negative. If you don't want to do something, or you're describing it and you say you don't want to miss a lead, or you don't want to do something, scratch that out and say it. What does it look like to do it correctly? Now, this is where I want you to listen to a very important part of this. There's no such thing as perfect. No such thing. So when you say it, write it, see it the correct way, your brain can attach to it. It can do what it needs to do to allow you to achieve it. So this reboot is going to use all parts of your brain. So number 3 part of it is create the habit we move you toward in the process. What habits can you create to be in your personal best? What's one? Right now, I'll give you an example. I have one habit that I really stick to. I really create a positive out of everything I hear. Meaning, if somebody says something is driving them crazy, they're not being driven crazy. But when they have a habit of saying that word, 88% of their brain attaches to the nervous system, creates a blood pressure rise. The nervous system gets activated for fear, flight, fright, freeze mechanism. And then they might feel agitated just because they use the word. So really what you think is you create habits, and you've written out how you want it. Think of a habit of what you can do while you're practicing your personal best. So words I like to add in here. Always, every time. When you write out a habit and you create a habit, so every time I walk in the door of my house, I smile. Or every time I go to the barn and I walk in the barn and see my horse, I know I'm going to have a good ride. And when you write these out, you can do several of them. Let's really work on this. The 4th one, choose behaviors and rituals that will trigger that. Like I gave you a trigger as part of the habit to create. Walking in the door, seeing the horse, driving to the barn. When you think about those triggers and anchors of what you're going to have, you're going to create behaviors and rituals that you are going to allow to happen every time you do it. Remember, number 4 is the trigger and the ritual. Repetition, 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 repetition. All the time, every time. Because the brain will help you reproduce it. Habitual habits are created by repetition. Remember, all of this is about your mindset. Mindset matters. Now, what do I mean by that? What you think is what you get. You are what you think. What else can you be? Your words. Your words. So mindset really matters. When we know that we want to create what our words are, sometimes we have to write them down, sometimes we might record them and listen to what we say sometimes. The next one, number 5, is choose anchors that support these habits. When you start this, when you start a new project or you start something new, relax when you start it. Like when I started recording this, I sat down and I took a deep breath and I relaxed. I just breathe. And anchored is my subconscious mind looking at the camera, talking to you. I'm relaxed because I chose to be. This is easy. Easy is a great one. Please, when you're going through this right now and you have the printout and you're filling it in, put the word easy down. Let's really make everything easy. Now, I'm going to really talk to you about that. Yes, I know things are sometimes more difficult than others. I know situations and circumstances sometimes can have other thoughts attached to it. But we've proven scientifically that if you just practice the word easy, the most difficult things, the most difficult obstacles, the most difficult things in life can be easier. That's right. Because remember, the mindset is the process that we're going to do. Now the next one, number 6. Number 6, when you get to this, and we're going to go through it right now, choose language. I just started that with easy. Choose language that will support those habits. I am confident, brave, strong. I handle stressful situations effectively. The I am attached to it. Use the words and language. Look up positive words. What does it mean to be confident? What does it mean to be positive? What does it mean to be effectively aware of your words? Now, I say reboot when we think about this program. You're okay like you are right now, but rebooting is like restarting to remind you of these things. To me, it's like a computer. When you reboot it, it gets upgraded. It gets working better, a better bandwidth, a better operating system. Maybe you need a new hard drive. Well, we can't do that in your brain, but we can do the processing of rewiring it with words, with thoughts, with affirmations, with the things that work. So choose your words. I remember growing up, my mother used to always say, if you don't have something nice to say, just don't say anything at all. And I thought that was kind of whatever. I tried to abide by that. Now, as an adult, now I know the meaning behind it. Because our words do affect people. You know, sometimes you say something jokingly and you kind of have a little curt cut in it and it's funny. But those words make an imprint in the brain. Are there any words that were imprinted in your brain that affect you now? I bet there are. You can get rid of them. By doing these exercises, you're going to start a process that's going to help you do that, and I'm going to teach you why during the process. Number 7 is design your environment to set yourself up for success. Be around like-minded people. Learn how to reframe the negative you hear from everybody. Learn how to take every one of these tips and how to reframe your brain and readjust. And then in your environment, you have permission, if everybody's being too negative, to speak up for yourself, to say, hey, can we think about something more positive today? especially before you go to get in the ring, before you take a lesson, before you're taking a test of any, before you're doing anything actually. You can speak up for yourself. Your environment is very important. And if the people that you're around are just a little too negative, avoid them before you go show. Have some boundaries. Create a way that you protect yourself so you can achieve your personal best. What is a personal best? Your brain produces your personal best all the time. No matter what you do, driving a car, walking down the street, getting up in the morning, whatever you do, your brain is producing the activity of the habit that you're doing, and it is creating it to do it the best you can. It doesn't intentionally have hiccups or problems or do things incorrectly. Do you think you go in a ring and you do something incorrectly on purpose? Some of that's learning. Some of that is the little gremlin that sometimes comes in your head that messes you up with the negative. Or you just heard something negative before you went in, or you saw something negative before you went in the ring. But part of that is learn to control that. So designing the environment and writing it out is going to help you find that way to manage it. Now here's a real important key. With this freebie that I'm doing here for you, I'm also going to give you an MP3 of hypnosis. What's hypnosis? How can I use hypnosis to achieve my personal best? Well, hypnosis is how we can reprogram with all those positive things you wrote out. And we help get rid of the negative imprints, help rewire the subconscious mind and reboot you to that positive way of thinking. What is hypnosis? It's a way to involve your unconscious mind. You go in and out of it all the time. When you worry, you hypnotize yourself, and then everything you're worried about becomes stronger. So using self-hypnosis or hypnosis by someone facilitating it, whichever one you use, it will help you, because our conscious mind is the 12% that we're talking on. Your analytical, logical thinking, your short-term memory. That short-term memory, 2 + 2 is 4, that quick thinking, and your willpower. So that's 12%, that's your monitor. Your subconscious mind is your hard drive. That's where the imprints are I was talking about earlier. So we think about the 88% of your brain. It really is your habits, your emotions, and then there's your long-term memory. In the long-term memory, you also have self-preservation. So sometimes when you have something happen and occur, your self-preservation is activated with fear, flight, fright, freeze mechanism. And if those triggers and anchors are attached to something that affects you, that is what we want to help reboot, change that process. The hypnosis is an effective tool to access the subconscious mind, because 88% of your brain is literal, zero analytical rational reasoning ability. So through that, it's relaxation, it's visualization, it's your imagination, it's mindfulness. All those things are part of this. Since I can't control you, just remember that. There is not a hypnotist on the face of the earth that can control anybody. If you want change, I am a facilitator to help you make that change, and all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. I'm just a guide. My words relax you. Then part of the equation is the natural laws of the mind, or why this all works. Remember, law number 1, what you think is what you get. Law number 2, every thought creates a physical reaction. I can say something now and make you laugh. I can say something now and make you cry. I can say something and you look at me, God, that was kind of silly what she said. Because law number 3 is your imagination is more powerful than knowledge. Have you ever worried about something that was not real? but you made it bigger than a mountain, then all of a sudden it never happened? That's because the natural laws of mind are how we function as a human. Part of the hypnosis that I do and on the MP3 that's included in this fun thing I'm doing for you today is NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. It's a model of excellence to improve your results. The neuron is the neurological pathway in the brain to the linguistic, the words. Back to what I was talking to you about earlier. Your words are important, and this is why. It's a wiring in your brain. And the linguistic becomes the programming. That's the interaction of the system in your brain, the communication, your programs. Sometimes we have programs that we don't like. I think we call them bad habits sometimes. Or just something we think we do because we do it. Well, actually, 97% of what you do every day is by habit. So if you don't like one of them, you can change them. I promise you, and I guarantee it. So now I want you to think about your brain. Your brain really has a lot of information stored in there. Values, beliefs, languages. How many languages do you speak? I speak one. I did take some Spanish once, and I remember a few words. Memories. And your decision-making process, how you make decisions, and time coding. What should I be doing now by age, by retirement, by high school, college? You've got a program in your mind. It's time coding. Then you have meta programs. Meta programs are programs that you learn from teachers, from parents, from friends, from TV. We learn a lot of things from TV, don't we? But what I want you to think about is technically everything is neutral. When you see it, feel it, taste it, smell it, and hear it, till it goes into your brain and you have a response by the programming that's in your brain. My brain's different than your brain. Everybody's is. Every time you look around and see other people, because they're all programmed differently. Two people can experience the same thing at the same time and have two different memories and reactions to them. Isn't that interesting? Because if they go in, it's neutral, and it goes to your brain, then the internal representation of how your brain has the programming, you get a state, then you get a behavior, and that gives you a physical result to everything you see. If you think about it, we see, say, and do something like 150,000 to 350,000 words and images a day. I want you to take a moment right now. Wherever you're sitting, whatever you're doing, look around. Everything around you was somebody's thought. Whether it was created, lights, windows, doors, desk, computers, somebody thought it and created it from the brain. So we also create habits of how we do things, how we walk, how we breathe, how we talk, how we ride a horse, how we drive a car. We create these habits. So what you think about your brain and how do we store memory? Think of your brain like a tree trunk. There's a ring of every year of your life. So we're standing out here and we have a thought. And all of a sudden our thought goes ding, 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 ding back to a memory. We're going through some old pictures of mine. There's a photograph of me with one of my first really nice hunters. And I had my dog in my lap. I had a little white poodle. I'm holding her in my lap on the horse. And the photograph is from 1967, I think. I have a lot of good memories from that picture. It's amazing. That's a long time ago. So I want you to think about how that brain works. So you have birth in the middle of the tree trunk, and then you have life with every ring. Your core operating system has been programmed by that life of every ring. So what I'm saying to you now is we can go through that. Reprogram, reboot, rewire, whatever word fits for you. The unconscious mind in each ring of that, and change it. So your future time coding can be what you want it to be by changing your habits. Think about how great that would be in everything that you do. I have one little bonus here that I want to add to all of this. It's just a little ditty. Avoid don'ts and nots. The subconscious mind doesn't hear don't or not. If I say don't think about the black horse, what are you thinking about? Mine has a pretty mane and tail. I actually think of Black Beauty. Cancel. There's a cancel technique that I'm going to give you the process right now. When you're thinking a negative thought, use the word cancel, erase, or delete. Use an actionary word to release it and replace it with a positive one. Now that goes back to what we were doing in the beginning of this. You wrote down some positive choices, practice those. And if one doesn't come to you, think of my purple elephant. What's a purple elephant? Absolutely nothing. People come back after I teach it to them. They go, oh, I had a purple giraffe. Oh, I had a purple hippopotamus. I don't care what it is. I just made a purple elephant, I don't know, 20 years ago. It's just a transitional thought. And sometimes when you're going the ring and that little gremlin in your head is going a little haywire, say cancel and think purple elephant. Because what will happen then, your subconscious mind, your habitual patterns and your autoresponder and your personal best will be how you ride. It will. Because you'll persevere and you'll be able to get that processing and you will be able to sit back in the habitual pattern of what you've taught yourself. Your unconscious competence and your unconscious confidence of riding your horse. That is your personal best. So if you have a hiccup, if you have a little problem, you have a little learning process, take it as that. I'm learning something new. Remember, what you know is what you know, and what you don't know is what you don't know. So what you just take all of these really good tips and practice them and enjoy them, because this is for you. And listen to the MP3 included with you. This, your personal best MP3. Listen to it every night when you go to bed. Avoid listening to it while you're driving. And use it as a tool. And let's get you to reboot your personal best and enjoy it, because I'm doing this for you.